Hello everyone, welcome. This is lesson 3. In this lesson, we'll be looking about comments, data types, variables, and case sensitivity. Let's start. A comment in programming is just a line that describes your code to another programmer who reads your source code. They are not displayed to the console. Example, these two lines here are comments. To write comments in C++, you'll use two forward slashes for a single line comment, and if you want to comment a multiple line, for example, if I want to turn all these two lines into a comment, I'll just use a forward slash asterisk, and then after completing to write my comment, and then add asterisk and a forward slash. In this program, I'll be using comments to explain every part. Let's start discussing about variables. A variable is a container, think like it's a container in RAM that used to store specific data. A process of assigning data to a variable is called assignment, and it uses this kind of operator. This operator in programming is not called equal sign, but it's called the assignment operator. I said it stores specific data. Then how can you specify the data to be specific? To specify your data, we'll be using data types. So a data of type will specify the type of the container. Logically, you may think like, if you have container designed to store solid, that container cannot be used to store liquid, and if you have the container for liquids, then it cannot be used to store gaseous item. Data types are of three types: the primitive, derived, and the user-defined. In this video, we'll be looking about primitive data type. Primitive data type, there are 6 primitive data type, and I'll use them while declaring variables. So here I'll be declaring variable. So variable declaration. To declare a variable, you will specify data type and the name of that variable, or we call it identifier. For example, int age equals 20. Here, age is a data type that specifies a whole number. Age is identifier, and 20 is a value assigned to age. Another data type is called the float. Float is used to store data with decimal portion. For example, 8 equals to 1.2. Another data type that can be used to store values with decimal portion, we call it double. The difference between float and double is the number of decimals can be stored. Double store number of decimals more than float. For example, GPA, let's store 2.4. Another thing we can store, we call it character. So it's named as Carl. For example, Carl 6, and then assign a value like F. And then another data type is called string. String is used to store combination of characters. Example, a name. And my name can be lecture room online. The last one is called boolean, and I'll name it as bool. For example, is a student. Boolean is used to store only two values, either true or false. For example, if the data above is for student, then is student will be true, otherwise will be false. Let me try to display this value. If I am about to display like my name is, and then I'll add name, then add end line. There is a problem, like string was not declared in this scope. Yes, this is because also a string comes from the std, the standard. So to use a string, you have to add the line of using namespace std. So not only cout and cin, but also the string should be declared from the using namespace std. Let's try again. Now the program compiled and ran successful. My name is Lecture Room Online. So if I am about to change the value, I'll just change this text and not my codes below. You can display all other types as shown, but I want to show you how what will happen if I'll display a boolean value, like boolean value is, and then output is a student, and then end line. If I compile and run this program, you will see that the boolean value is equal to 1. So if you store true, the computer will understand it as 1, and if you will store false, it will be printed as 0. Let me show it. You see? So true is equal to 1 and false is equal to 0. Last thing I want to show is the case sensitivity. In programming, case sensitivity is the ability of the language to distinguish between the uppercase and the lowercase. I mean the small letters and the capital letters. For example, if this name is written with a capital letter, and if I try to learn this program, then it will return an error that name was not declared. This is because name here is written in small cases, I mean the small letters or lower cases, but this n is capital. So this variable is not the same as this one. But if I change here and put n, now this is the same as this one. So I expect it to compile and run successful as seen. So everybody, that is all about comments, data types, variables, and the case sensitivity in C++ programming language. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video to others. Thank you.